I got Zapdos, baby. I want to tell you a fun story about betrayal, but before we do, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, smash that bell notification button so you can be notified every single time I drop a new video, which for my long form is every single day at 12 p.m. Pacific time. I try to go ahead and put out a new long form video every single day. That is what I've been challenging myself to do. So, if you guys want to go ahead and support that, definitely go ahead and check out every single one of those videos and try to stick around to the end because, well, retention matters. So let's go ahead and talk about our tale of betrayal. It was the 3rd grade for young Alec Hamlin back when he was a wee one. I was coming home from my elementary school. I was on the bus and there was this 5th grader behind me. Somehow we were all talking about Pokemon. We were probably just sharing cards at this point because the Pokemon craze was peaking at this point. I believe it was 1999, somewhere around there, something like that. And this red-headed evil man comes up to me and he notices that I have a holographic Zapdos card, which for you illiterate non-Pokemon people, it's a pretty big deal, right? Zapdos is one of the legendary Pokemon, right? Now the card that I had, I don't know if it was anything special. I don't know if it's like, one of those cards that would be worth a bunch of money today. I'm not a huge collector. I do dabble in Pokemon to this day. If I see a card that reminds me of the good old days, I'll definitely go ahead and pick it up. But I'm definitely not one of those guys who's, going around and getting the collection and able to go ahead and flip a card for like thousands of dollars. I just love nostalgia because my father took away my childhood when he tortured my mother and beat me, and now I want to go ahead and get things that remind me of the good times in my childhood when I felt safe. So that's why here and there I'll go ahead and get Pokemon cards. Now that that little trauma dump is over, let's go back. Let's go back. So he notices that I have a holographic Zapdos card, and I'm jazzed about it. I think it's really cool, and he wants it because he's a little bastard man. So he comes up and he starts to convince me. He's like, "Hey man, you should trade that card with me." And I was like, "Well, but I like Zapdos. I don't want to trade Zapdos." He's like, no. I got the perfect card for you, okay? I got a Beedrill. Now, for those of you who know Pokemon, you guys are probably responding with "bah-ha-ha-ha" or guffaws, or maybe a pardon? Because that is not an even trade. Now, the main thing that you guys have to know is that my username on all channels is Don't Be Smart, Alec, and I try to live by that username. So any chance that I can be smart, I do the opposite and don't be smart. Because in this moment, I'm just like, wow, a Beedrill, you say? What's that? So he starts, chatting up this Beedrill. He's like, dude, this thing's awesome, right? Look, it's got like spikes in its hand, right? It can fly. It's dope, right? You want a Beedrill. Beedrills are really cool. They're way more powerful than Zapdos is. They're way cooler than Zapdos is. Dude, you're honestly gonna sit there with a holographic Zapdos? I'm doing you a favor, okay? Like, I'm losing out on this deal, okay? I think it's sad that you have a Zapdos, and I wanted to improve your life, man. Trust me, I'm a 5th grader, okay? You're in 3rd grade. You'll understand this when you're older. He's throwing every single used car salesman trick in the book, right? This guy's gonna be an amazing salesman. I mean, he's probably an amazing salesman right now. He's probably doing sales. Or you know what? He's probably some alcoholic who's dying in a gutter right now because he's an awful human being. That got real. This guy, I'm looking at his smile. I'm looking at that red hair, and I'm just thinking, you seem like the guy to trust. So I decide to give up a Zapdos, a holographic Zapdos card for a goddamn Beedrill. And as soon as I get that, I have buyer's remorse. I didn't have anybody say anything at that exact moment, but as soon as I got it in my hand, I was like, I don't feel good about this. And then seconds later, when people around me realized the trade, their reaction was one where I immediately realized, oh no, I done screwed up. Because there was another 5th grader on that bus who looked at it. He took the time to look at the cards, saw my face, then his face, then he looked back at me, and then back to the red-headed horror, and then said, dude, that's messed up. Holy crap. He looked at me, he was like, he just tricked you. That's incredibly bad, right? Like, that's the worst trade. And then he just left. Out of my life forever. I thought this guy was gonna come and help me. I thought he was gonna be my hero. Just throws some bows at the red-headed horror that's sitting next to me. No, just leaves, goes back to the cool kids in the back of the bus. And I have to sit there in the stew of shame. And then I have to go back home to my abusive father and probably get beaten because I didn't do something right, or maybe I had a G.I. Joe laying down on the ground, or God forbid I left an open Coke can and there are ants. I went somewhere else for a moment. I don't know where that was going. Let's get back to the Pokemon card. Anyway, that guy was a terrible person and is just like the worst human being in the world. Picture every worst human being ever, and they're looking at that guy who I believe's name was Connor, and they're just like, you suck. You're just awful. And we all did terrible things, but you are like the king of terrible, sucky people. Am I using my platform to try and rile up the people and turn them against Connor? Maybe, okay? But we're not gonna give out last names, so it's okay. I went to the SoCal Gamers Expo recently, and there was a couple different spots that were selling Pokemon cards. Now, like I said, I'm a very casual type of customer in the Pokemon card trade. And so whenever I just randomly see one, I'm just like, oh, okay, I'll pick this one out. I don't necessarily go looking for it. I'm walking around with my buddy Wrecked Wizard, which everybody needs to go over to Wrecked Wizard's account, and they need to subscribe to him because he's an amazing content creator, one of the most underrated content creators that I've ever seen. I think he's only got about 20 to 30,000 followers on his account. He deserves like 8 million. No more, no less. But I come across this one stand where one of my vendor buddies is selling his stuff, and I notice a couple Pokemon cards. And that's where I see it. I got Zapdos, baby. Holographic Zapdos, all right? I see a holographic Zapdos, and I was like, oh my God. And it's only for $15. So it's not a super rare card. Could have gotten this on Amazon at any point, but at this point, getting it at a convention is way more special, and it's in its protective little sleeve, so that's good too. So I immediately bought this because it was time. It was time to make wrong decisions right. It was time to rectify that horrible moment in my childhood. It was time to reverse that canon trauma that I went through on that bus that day in grade number 3. We finally done it. We finally righted that wrong. Guys, if you like this story of betrayal and heartbreak and depression, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It definitely helps this channel. Also, go ahead and hit that bell notification button so you can be notified of other tales of heartbreak, tragedy, betrayal, and woes. I release a long-form video every single day at 12 p.m. Pacific time. I've been trying to challenge myself to do one every single day, and it has been a bit of a challenge. So any engagement would help on this video. Let me know what cards you guys have as far as the Pokemon cards go. Also, tell me what your favorite Pokemon is. Do you have a tale of swindling and betrayal? Let me know. Were you the swindler or were you the swindlee? Guys, before I go, I just want to let you all know that this video is being sponsored by Grifter's Cola. Grifter's Cola. The reason why Connor was such a terrible dingus of a human being. I believe it!